Hello, I am Paul Nisi from Fun Towards Gamer.
And I'm Scott Cates of the Comic Station.
And welcome to issue number 26 of the Comic Station for July 3rd, 2013. For our new releases this week for July 3rd, we are going to kick it right off with Mercy Sparx, Volume 2, issue number 1. This is actually, you may not recognize the symbol, but this is from Arcana, and this is published with Devil's Due, is the partnered publisher. Honestly, I picked this up just because of the cover.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting.
It is a very interesting cover. Obviously, you have a devil in the foreground, kind of looks pissed off. A whole bunch of angels, but you notice like angels have strapped tattoos and everything going on. So, honestly, interesting cover. Obviously, this is a volume 2. So basically, the overall story is Mercy Sparx is a partial devil, at least, and has been co-opted and used by angels to find and hunt down some rogue angels. There is a lot of conspiracy, a lot of going back and forth. Some of the higher-ups within the angel hierarchy are hiding things from the lower, and so it's little things like that that actually, to me, got more of my interest. The artwork was pretty decent. At times it got a little weird, but you can tell from the cover it can do that. And really, it varied from section to section. In some sections it would be really nice artwork, and in another one it would just be okay. I'm not going to ruin anything, but basically that's the overall story. There's a bunch of conspiracy going on. She's kind of a puppet, and she's kind of cutting out her own niche within this, and so that's the gripping thing about this. If you like angels, you like the whole mythology fighting each other, then it might be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a small publisher.
Yes.
That, you rarely see a book. Usually from small publishers, you get 1 or 2 books per year, and this is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Devil's Due, slightly growing. I'll check it out. I mean, the cover does grab your interest, so I will check it out.
Yes, and it can get a little bloody and gory, so obviously she is some of these angels, so along the line, blood's going to be spilled. Although angels bleed.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of bloody.
Yes, absolutely. Good segue. Absolution, Rubicon, number 1. This is from Avatar Press. This is on Absolution. Anyone that has read Absolution for basically John Dusk, he goes by his real name. He was a police officer. He is also what is essentially, they have a word for powers, people that have powers, and he was on the good side. He was a cop, he was helping, so forth. At some point along the line, he decided that it wasn't just enough to capture them. They always got out, they always did more, and a running theme in a lot of comic books is, do they deserve pity, or should they just be stopped? And he takes the second hand, and he does it in a bloody massacre, and I love it. And it really is interesting. I really like the artwork in this. There are some scenes where some people agree with him and some don't. Most of them do seem to agree with him, though. So, but his main adversary right now is more public image, as well as this politician who, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically goes along the lines of, if you're not with us, you're against us. Meaning, if you're a power, if you're not following our lead and you're not listening to every word we say, then you're obviously a power that we need to lock up and get rid of. Mm-hmm. So he, of course, takes this vigilante stance against John Dusk. So now he is enlisting some help from a very powerful, very dangerous person to bring down John Dusk. And some people don't believe he's a danger, so.
All I can say is it's Avatar, so it's going to be bloody.
It's going to be bloody. It's gorgeous.
If you like that, then it's definitely anything by Avatar. If you're into that type of horror / bloody stuff,
this is a really good super power comic.
They're for what they do it very well.
Yeah, it's very adult, very good themes and everything running throughout it, not just bloody gore, as beautiful as that is. But I actually really enjoy it. I like the implications behind it, like what makes two people break at that point. So the next one is from a larger publisher. We're actually going from small to large now. So this one is from DC Comics. This is Trinity of Sin, Pandora. This is a prequel to the Trinity War that has come up, and obviously judging by the name Trinity of Sin, Pandora, this is centering on Pandora, and I fully expect there to be at least 2 more with the other sins. If anyone knows the mythology behind this, Pandora released the monsters, the greed, and just the plagues upon mankind. And it's really interesting because at first you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, the pantheon, the gods, and that she gets punished, and her punishment is to live forever in this world that she created all this misery in. And for a long time, she just wanders, and she just avoids them. She tries to help people, but she really can't do much. And at a certain point, she decides to, okay, I'm gonna learn. And she goes to druids, she goes to monks, she starts to learn it. And by the end of this issue, she starts to fight back, and she starts to actually come back together. And I like some of the obviously this is going to be a larger thing within the DC universe. The little quote on here is, "The end her curse, she must take on the entire DCU." So you know it's going to play in a lot, and there's actually wonderful little hints of people showing up throughout this. That pantheon you saw was actually other characters in the DCU. Shazam, particularly, he makes a appearance there, but he also makes one later in the book. There is some mention of Wayne Tech with some of her weapons, and then in the end, she has to seek out a man pure of heart and such, and she alludes to somebody within the DCU that would exemplify this. So I like the tie-in. It's kind of a self-contained, not very expanded storyline here, but obviously it's setting up for the Trinity War, so she's going to play a part later on. As far as being a standalone issue for herself, it was interesting, okay, kind of gripped me, but I'm not completely sold on it.
She's going to be one of those characters that, in conjunction with all the rest of it, it works well. Once again, as an individual, like with a lot of the DC characters, not so well. You'll also find out this week, too, that the Phantom Stranger is also a prelude to the Trinity War. So if you're into DC, pick that up as well, because this is going to impact everything that's DC. This is the next big event.
Yes. Like you said, she'll probably do better once you get the other characters. Right. Interesting storyline, though. I do like all the scenery of her going throughout time, basically.
Yeah.
Really interesting scenes in artwork there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading. I will read the entire Trinity War, so I'm an idiot. So.
Finally, from Marvel, we have Avengers AI #1. I'm not going to go too long on this one. We're running a little long. We want to make this issue a little faster. Basically, you can tell from the cover, it's the AI characters joining up. Main character opening up, at least, is Hank Pym. He created a virus to help stop Ultron. Wasn't really needed, but he did put it out there. And since then, this virus has mutated. It's a computer virus, has mutated and started becoming more self-aware. And now it's causing problems that he basically caused it. Now he has to clean it up. The Shield and then the Avengers kind of recruit him, quote unquote, and so he starts gathering people to help him. And my favorite, I'm absolutely the one that actually makes this a decent read is the Vision. He doesn't really say much or do much, but I just love his character. I love him, and I enjoyed it. It was okay, nothing crazy. And it gathers the team. Some of these characters on the front, if you recognize them, they actually don't play a part in most of this. It's mainly 3 characters. It's the Vision, Victor Mancha is the Vision's brother, as well as a reprogrammed Doombot. Other than Hank Pym having a little part in the beginning, that's pretty much it. And so it's a little they have more characters on here than play a part.
Yeah, they're trying to fish out a little bit more from the Age of Ultron. You know, they'll squeeze out as much of it as they can.
Yeah, well,
they get into their next big event.
Yeah, well, Age of Ultron ended, and now they're trying to wrap it and kind of make it cohesive or something.
Yeah.
But so.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, if you're collecting the whole thing, definitely pick it up. Not necessary though.
Yeah, it was okay. If you really like these characters, sure, go for it. But otherwise, it just didn't grip me. All right, up next is our review and recommendation. For the reviews today, we actually have two of them from Lito that he submitted one last week. We have two of them this week, and we're going to jump off with the number one from Image Comics is Satellite Sam. Came out today, and he reviewed it. Basically, it follows along the storyline of Le Mans Television Studio in the 1951 era, and it's a rising star, and their main attraction, their show, is Satellite Sam, a kind of Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon kind of television show that's going on. The storyline behind Satellite Sam, as Lito said, sort of like two different noir stories smashed together. And by that he means the first storyline really just follows the CEO and everything. The second storyline follows the son of the main actor who works in the control station. And from his review, he kind of thought it got lost because of the inconsistency within the narrative. The black and white art does add to the noir style, but really hard to differentiate between the people and who they're talking to. So you might lose track of what part somebody plays or how important this person is or even who that person is they're talking to at that point. The frantic style in the artwork gets the readers mixed up. So overall, the storyline was okay. And there's a good... He did specifically point out that the ending had a really nice twist at the end, and it kind of grabbed his attention back. But judging from his review, ultimately it was just okay. Despite the nice twist ending, and it got his attention back, it kind of lost it too much to really redeem itself. So if you want the full review, go check it out on frontdoorsgamer.com. I'm glad to say that we've been posting his reviews on there. And he gave it a 6 out of 10, which is okay, and honestly, it kind of seems like a miss. Next review, it's not a new one, but he loved it so much, and he likes the series so much, he wanted to do a review, and I can't help but let him feature it. Hawkeye, number 11, Marvel, and cutting straight to the review score, 10 out of 10. Judging from his review, it's easy to see why. Matt Fraction, who actually did Satellite Sam as well, keeps the story short, quirky, and connected, despite having some very interesting styles. Particularly in this issue, the storyline is told from the perspective of Lucky, who is a dog, also known as Pizza Dog. And this dog was rescued from Russian mobsters, and he's living with Hawkeye, and it's told from his perspective. So you see a lot of stuff in the background going on that helps the storyline of Hawkeye go forward, but really you're more learning about his day, the day of the dog. And it's really interesting. One of the quotes directly from Lito's review is, "This issue is a masterpiece of visual storytelling utilizing infographics to give you information about characters from Pizza Dog's perspective, and occasionally featuring dialogue balloons with only a few words that can be understood by Pizza Dog." So it's really interesting, it's quirky. Honestly, his review made me want to go and pick up Hawkeye, and I know I really probably should. I've been hearing a lot of great things about it. But this issue in particular just sounds crazy, and I like it. Lito ends it with, "I'll just say this, the book features a fight scene between a mystery-solving dog and a Russian assassin dressed as a mime. Come on, you know you want to read this now." I think that sums it up perfectly, and again, 10 out of 10. Good job, Lito.
All right. For my recommendation this week, this is a book that Paul reviewed last week. I read it today, and I will tell you what, this is Lazarus #1 from Image, and so far this year, this is one of the best books that I've read. I really like the way it was written. It's written intelligently. I like the artwork in it. Right now, it's definitely in my top 5 of the year. You know, you've read it. I'm not going to rehash the whole story. If you want to, go back and check out Comic Station 25, and you can get the full review there. But
I enjoyed it. I liked it. There was a little few points I remember, but overall, I really enjoyed it. And I've heard nothing but good things on the social network and everything that I try to keep up with. So it seems like another one that will really pan out in the long run.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. Obviously, I'm looking forward to number 2, but for my money, and obviously as someone who runs a comic book store, I read a lot of comics. This one has stood out, so I would highly recommend it if you have a chance, pick it up.
All right, and that is our Comic Station issue number 26 for July 3rd, 2013. As always, feel free to leave any comments. Let us know what we missed, anything else, any format changes, maybe some suggestions. Please, we're always trying to change things and keep things relevant to you. So, again, thank you, and we will see you next week.
See you.